we have this thought that maybe if we give that kind of like starting face, YouTube will say that's going to be our thumbnail.
You get to pick your thumbnail.
It gives you 3 choices. 4. I think you get 3. You get 1. It gives you all 3. You can do a custom thumbnail. You can do a thumbnail that's, I don't know. There's 2 others that it gives you. There's 3 others it gives you, and it just gives them randomly. And sometimes they're all bad. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Living for Crits. I'm James.
I'm Evie.
And this is the second attempt at doing this show on a more regular basis. So thanks for coming on. Thanks, Evie, for signing on, my permanent co-host. If you follow us on Twitter, which is at I Live for Crits, or on Facebook, you may know that we are going to try to make this more regular. And Evie, sometimes known as Judge Evie, is going to be a regular co-host on the show. Hello. So she's just always going to be here. Before we get on, we were working on the word enunciate. Hey, Hector Cruz is on. Look at that. Hector, I promise, Hector is our audio-visual like warlock. I'm going to use a 5th edition term here. And for Glowburn, the Glowburn podcast, which I promise I'm recording after this. So I'm not... Judge Mark, I will be on eventually, just when we're wrapped up here. So Chris is on. What's up, Chris? I want to thank everyone who's jumping on right now or who jumps on as the show goes. And if you're out there right now and you're watching live, feel free to comment, make silly phrases up or whatever, throw them in the chat. We are watching the chat. It's right there. So I'm looking over here. I see the chat. And I think we should just cover the judge thing, because since we have D&D in the podcast, not the podcast. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my AV stuff. Oh, Scott Woodard's on. What's up, man?
Hi.
Clayton's on. Hey, when I say when we say judge, what does judge mean? And I think it's interesting tonight that Evie is wearing the DCC RPG shirt, which is Dungeon Crawl Classics. I'm wearing the Dungeons & Dragons shirt. And Evie, why don't you cover what a judge is?
So it's like the person who like runs the game, like it's a DM and Dungeons and Dragons, but like it's a judge in DCC. Yeah, that's
it. Mm-hmm. That's simple. Chris, throughout the silly word or phrase, lays like
Finkelstart.
I think Finkelstnarf could be like an alternate word for judge.
Snarfinkel.
The Snarfinkel. Or a monster, something we could throw at a party. Maybe we should stat that up. If someone wants to stat that up, that'd be fun. If we had a place to put that, we could share it, but we don't. So, oh well. But that's what judge is. If you see Judge Evie or Judge James, if you see it on my Twitter page or whatever, that's all that is. It's nothing to do with where I'm not an actual attorney.
I am.
So there we go. All right. So I thought tonight we go into our wrap up from our 5th edition game on Friday, our very first 5e game. Put my hand out and you can't see it. Our very first 5e game, our first 5th edition game.
Yeah, it looks like 15th, like 5th first.
No, it's this way, because remember, it's backwards for them, because we're looking at our stuff in reverse. Yeah, look at your name. Your name says GPRCCD.
No, but like,
I know, whatever.
When they watch it, that's what they're gonna see. I'm always on this side.
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's true.
5E.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch this again to see if it records backwards or not. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. There was one question before we discussed Friday. I want to cover a question that kind of popped up in the comments. Someone had asked during last week's episode. I'm going to call them episodes. It makes it seem so much more formal, right? Somebody asked what if we're using the Dungeon Crawl Classics DCC 51, that box set for our settings. I've said I'm using a DCC setting. I'm not. It's a box set that came in the pre-DCC RPG days. Goodman Games published modules for 3rd edition, 3.5, and 4th edition. And I think DCC 51 was a box set that covered the world of Aerith. I'm not using that. I'm using this setting we're calling the Realms of the God Emperor, based off of Judge Mark Plord's character, my co-host from Glowburn, from our game, God Emperor Razul, which was his psionicist character from DCC, built from the Mind Games book for DCC by Shield of Faith, which is Reed Sanfilippo. I'm throwing a ton of names out there. Shannon Carl's on. What's up, Shannon? How you doing, dude? Shannon and I go way back in gaming. Shannon and I gamed back during the second edition in Alternity days, right? Shannon, it was like when we first started playing was Alternity. But anyway, the setting we are using is based on old material I have from a 3-year-old campaign setting that is kind of a homebrew and a hodgepodge of all of this DCC stuff. And if you just go to my Twitter page, it'll have a picture at the top of all the crap I'm throwing into the setting. So that's what the setting is. There are hand motions.
All the crap.
That's going to be the cover. What's going to happen? This is going to be what they give us as the thing. Yeah. All right. So let's go on to what we were supposed to talk about, because we're trying to do this in a half-hour format.
Jesus.
I don't remember Ramen Jesus, Shannon. Is that terrible?
Is that you? Are you Ramen Jesus?
Maybe.
Third motion.
All right. So in part, in our last episode of this, we discussed, trying to, we were going to play the game, play 5th edition, and why we were playing it. And tonight we're going to talk about, what we enjoyed, and things that have been challenges for us, the ups and the downs, the things that are cool for us or are a little bit difficult for us to capture. What are you doing? Hold your book up, okay? I will say these books are replicating. So this was the book I had last week. It's on Evie's hands, and as you can see, there's more stuff appearing. So the starter set was here last week. Into the Borderlands came, and then the foil cover collector's edition came. That's DCC Langmore. That's Savage Worlds Langmore. That's not the same thing. Yeah. So we've got our DM's guide, our monster manual, and I got to see the foil cover. Seemed like a good deal. It was like $90 or $95 on
for just the book.
For the 3 books and the.
Oh, okay.
No, this book was like $40 though. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's do this chat, okay? So our first session we ran Lost Mine at Fandelver, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't get very far. We left Fallcrest, which was a city from D&D 4e I threw into this game, and traveled south to and got jumped by. You tell us what happened. You tell me. I shouldn't be talking.
Oh boy.
What happened? Give us the recap in your version.
We fought stuff, and then we went down to this like cave thing, and we got this like werewolf thing, and that was like our friend, and his name is Jeffrey. Well, there were 3. There was Jeffrey, Jeffrey, and then Alfred, and all of them like escaped except Jeffrey, because we broke them free. So then we took Jeffrey, and now he's my friend's friend dog thing, werewolf. Yeah, that happened. And then we climbed up like a wall, and I couldn't climb up the wall, but I climbed the wall anyway. And then we went back down the wall and went up the wall, and then we fought stuff, and then we ended it.
I think it's important to note there were no werewolves in the last game.
Yeah, there was.
Those were 3 actual wolves.
Oh.
They weren't werewolves. And you didn't fight them. You befriended one of them.
What's that mean? No, we were the friends of one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You became its associate.
Yeah, so we friended it.
Okay. There weren't werewolves though. So Shannon says fought stuff, killed things, rescue guys, climb stuff, fought more stuff. That's essentially it. Our party included 3 players. We had Betty the Warlock, the Tiefling Warlock.
No, Betty Bunker.
Betty Bunker, the Tiefling Warlock.
I'm Bestie Betty.
And your other 2 who are the other 2 players? Characters.
We had Flail, but they all abbreviate. It's like capital F dot capital L dot capital A dot capital I dot capital L.
You need to do a dot in the middle of all of those.
That's what he wanted.
But you didn't need to say it. Whatever. Okay. So, but what was Flail? What was Flail's character class?
It's a half elf.
That's the race.
A half elf.
Oh, don't cheat and look at the show notes.
I forgot.
All right. So your other friend, what did she play?
She was a gnome ranger.
A gnome ranger.
Named Kala or something.
Kali Cloud?
Oh yeah.
Cauliflower Cloud?
Something like that.
What is Chris saying? Do you want to read it?
Yeah.
Why don't you read it out loud? You can't just read that and then say, yeah. Read what Chris said.
Okay, this is surreal because apparently my friend is going through the mines with another group. He said they tried to save the wolves as well.
And I let them save one of the wolves. I think the player of Kala rolled like 4 or 5 20s during the game, which is crazy.
Was more than that.
Maybe more. And she rolled a natural 20 on her animal handling check. So I said she befriended the wolf, which is kind of a good idea. Befriended. Friended the wolf.
No, we be friends.
They be friends now with said wolf, which was useful because it's only a party of 3 and they need some fighting power, you know? So there you go. All right. Anyway, something just popped on the screen. So let's talk first impressions. Let's talk what we found interesting, or in some things that we found challenging for the first game. So let's go back and forth. All right.
We have to do this. I should. Because
we need to check the dice. No, he's not saying to check your dice. Shannon has no idea you have dice sitting here in front of you. Okay. So he said check those dice. What he meant was check your friend's dice. Not that he can see dice on this table. That's not what he's talking about. Check those dice out. I think he's like, Shannon, she thinks that you're like looking to our screen, her dice, okay? She's checking out her dice. Stop looking at my kid's dice to our screen here, all right? He's got like a camera somewhere in here. I knew it, Shannon. All right, let's go back and forth. You want me to go first? Or you want to go first? Okay. I enjoyed the advantage-disadvantage system more than I thought I would.
Yep.
It made things very quick and easy. I found it a bit faster than saying take a -2 penalty to your roll or a +2 bonus to your roll plus less math. And there's nothing I enjoy more than less math in a game. I thought that it was elegant and it was pretty quick to just say you have advantage for this. Folks gonna make us on the fly. What are you doing?
Hand motions to what you're saying.
It was pretty quick when I was deciding to cook things on the fly. Hey, Jonathan's on. Look at that. Yeah. Jonathan from all the way down in Brazil. What's up, man?
I hear stories about you.
Jonathan is a character. He's not a character. He's an actual human being who plays a character in my ongoing DCC campaign.
I thought that ended.
Which still, well, we transitioned from our long-running campaign to Lankmar now.
What's that?
You'll find out. ASMR Lankmar.
I like stuff.
That's not loud enough. They have no idea what you just said.
Yes, they do.
They didn't know. So anyway, advantage, disadvantage, really cool. I thought I'd find it clunky. I used to mock it, I'll be honest, as a way to sell more D20s. Evie, what's something that you enjoyed or found positive or could figure out easily? Give us that take.
I liked how there were like backgrounds and like the characters. So like you have more like saying what they did. Yeah. So like you could have like my character, someone like killed someone they love and now they're getting their revenge.
So you're on the hunt for who that is. So you were able to have some backstory to your character, which is the opposite of the DCC, where your character has no backstory unless you roll up Nick Cage as your 0-level occupation. Okay, so that's a good thing. Something else I liked, I really liked in a similar regard, I enjoyed the... What? Everyone's saying we like stuff. You like stuff.
They did hear me. Because I said, stuff.
Okay. I don't know what to say about that. I also enjoyed the character building aspect. I thought that was a nice positive to the game. I thought that for new characters who are seeing these new players, seeing these characters for the first time, to have those, flaws, bonds, traits, whatever they're called, I can't remember. There's 4 things that you can either pick or roll. Well, they know what it is, right?
Yeah.
We're the only two people on the planet who haven't played 5th edition, okay?
We did play 5th edition.
No, but before this, we were the only two people on the planet who didn't play 5th edition. So they all know what this is. Yeah. Just we don't.
Nick Cage probably hasn't played it.
That's a good question. Does Nick Cage play D&D? Someone, inquiring minds want to know. Give me a second thing, Evie. Give us a second thing that you enjoyed.
I didn't think of a second thing.
What? You all negative after this?
No, we already said my 2 things.
Oh, look at that. Shannon's got it. Traits, bonds, ideals, flaws. Thank you, Shannon. Yeah. Much appreciated.
You definitely knew that.
And Scott Woodard saying he only played a handful of times, but you still played. You still have played.
Hey, I know that guy.
You know Tim Baker?
I think I do.
Okay. Well, what is Tim saying there? Read his comment.
If you like backgrounds, you might want to check out the optional background proficiencies system in the DMG.
So I haven't read that yet. I'm trying to read them all cover to cover.
Is that this?
That's the player's handbook.
What the heck is a DMG?
The Dungeon Master's handbook, guy. Which you have to read that next.
I don't want to read that.
After you finish reading this, you have to read that.
Too many words in this. Look how small the pages are.
No, the pages are actually rather big. The print's small.
That's what I meant to say. That's what I did say. Like, look at this.
And yes,
Who wants to read all that?
You met Tim at Disney World.
I did?
Several years ago. In a while.
He lives there?
Yes.
Sounds exactly like
Tim lives at Disney World. All right.
I have my.
Let's go into. Well, you're gonna. All right. So, Edie's very first thing that she wants to talk about as a challenge, dislike, concern, maybe that she has for 5th edition. Evie, go ahead.
Okay. So, wait, that's not the right. Okay. So, this is like the average dice set for like D&D. What is this? We need to have this.
What are those?
We need a D30.
A D30.
A D24.
A D24.
A D5. And a D16. And what is this?
I don't know, Evie.
Oh, this is the D16. I said the wrong one before.
What's the other one then?
It's a 12.
I don't know, Evie.
12. Okay.
No, that wasn't a 12. It was a D14. You even rolled a 14, and you missed the D24. So you know what? Even you don't know the dice you're supposed to have.
No, I thought. Okay.
Oh, you got the 24. It's there.
I didn't get them all.
So you're saying?
Okay. What is this? Look at the differences. I have 2 sets of weird dice. What do they call them? Just like, yeah, we're dice. No, they have to have a name. We have weird dice, and then there's just regular dice.
No, I think the thing.
What do you do with regular dice?
Here's the thing, okay? The challenge that you have is you were raised on having all of these dice together. So for you, you know no difference. You don't know anything else than having a bajillion dice. That's normal for you, right?
Yeah.
And look at that. Someone's already made a comment. Why don't you read Tim Baker's comment in the accent you decided to give Tim Baker, which is exactly how he sounds. Go ahead, because I'm sure he's watching you live as you give him an accent. It is some kind of weird British / All right, go ahead and read his comment back to you, Evie.
Okay.
Composure. Let me go into what I think was a concern of mine, maybe, or a challenge I had, and you're squeaking that chair. I felt that the magic system for wizards, or for bards, or for warlocks, while interesting, I thought that the DCs seemed kind of low. Like, so I'm used to magic in Dungeon Crawl Classics, where it's crazy over the top. And just stuff explodes all the time. All right. I found that with the with the D&D game, a lot of the monsters were making their saving throws against the spells being chucked at them. So that when sleep was cast, I think not sleep. Sorry, sleep is an automatic knockout. What did you guys cast? Oh, burning hands.
Yeah.
You used burning hands twice. I think of 5 monsters caught in burning hands, 4 made the saving throw. Maybe all of them made the saving throw. So that seemed a bit of a challenge to me. Is that that saving throw was kind of weak. So maybe, or maybe it's, I don't know. It just seemed to me that Magic wasn't as powerful, which is probably a good thing because Magic and Dungeon Crawl Classics can be game ending. And I mean, a character can spellburn themselves to a husk, burn all their luck off, and then the next thing you know, the monster's dead. It's at the end of an encounter. So I get it. But that was, for me, I had to get used to that. Evie, you have another thing you want to talk about, right?
Yes, I do. So.
Or do you want to read in Tim Baker's accent?
Oh, he put in quotes, so I can really do it.
Go for it in quotes. Oh, yeah.
When you activate this wondrous item, choose one weapon and increase its damage die using a weird DCC die for 1 minute.
Well, what he said before that was, once you're comfortable with 5th edition.
Once you're comfortable with 5e, you can start house ruling uses for the weird DCC dice. Period.
Okay. Thank you, Judge Evie, for that accent. I'm sure Tim and the rest of our viewers thank you as well for that accent. Yes, I hope any viewers we have from Great Britain continue to watch anyway after this. Clayton Williams is asking, was there a lot of Magic used or was it more reserved? Actually, there was quite a bit of Magic being used in the game.
Me too!
You can't just yell, me too. I guess technically you can. You can yell me too. You can't just yell me too. That's some kind of context, okay? Wrong use of that hashtag, but you know what I mean. Like someone said, "I demand D24s." Clayton said, "I demand D24s," and you scream, "Me too."
He has 2 Claytons.
You have 2 Claytons viewing. Up to 2 Claytons. We're hitting a limit. Anyway, to answer the question from Clayton Williams, there was a lot of Magic. So you figure there's a Warlock in the party, there is a Bard in the party, and then you've got a Gnome Ranger, and Gnomes can use illusions.
Approved.
So anyway, there was a good bit of Magic being cast. So that's there. And Shannon's saying 2 issues, I think, there. The concept of bounded accuracy and their attempt to fix linear fighters versus quadratic wizards from previous editions. What version or kit was a quadratic wizard?
Clayton's Rock.
Clayton's Rock. I don't know what you're talking about, Shannon. But yeah, like fighters. I know. You mean like what's it called? Like exponential wizards? That's there. In DCC, everyone can just murder everyone, and they don't last long enough.
That goes into my second complaint.
So go to your second complaint, Evie.
So there was a lot of like, woo, we're all friends. Woo, we're going to kill you, but we're not really going to. That does not exist in DCC. It does not. So there was a lack.
Friends? Wait, you guys work great as a team in DCC.
No, I was talking about like the like monster stuff. Like our relationship with the monster. So it was more like, oh, we're like here, but we're not gonna like kill you.
The 4 goblins tried to kill you.
But there was not enough death.
You want more death.
Yeah.
Next game, there will be more death.
Yay.
I promise death to 3 new players to the system. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
The only other thing I would say that was a challenge for me, again, I don't like it, but the system isn't quite rolling off my tongue yet as you play. I ask for notice rolls, which is Savage Worlds. I almost asked someone to spend a Benny instead of advantage, disadvantage. So I have to get more fluent. That. I did ask that.
You did ask that.
But that's because we were playing Savage Worlds yesterday. So, I mean, I've got...
We were? Oh, yeah, we were.
Where were you at the ETU game? You were sitting right there.
You just see ETU. You can't see Savage Worlds.
ETU is Savage Worlds. East Texas University is Savage Worlds.
You have to say ETU.
ETU.
Yeah, just say that.
Okay. So any questions from the audience? We're getting towards like the 5-minute mark, trying to wrap us by 8:30 because I'm supposed to record at 8:30 for another show. Yay. So any comments here? Reed Sanfilippo, what's up, Reed? Saying really, it is hard to make a good long-term 5e character that does not use magic somehow. We'll see that as we go through, I guess.
Read that one.
I know that I would like to play more frequently. So I'm hoping you find that out.
I approve of like
Tim
all
Baker
these
saying
comments.
quadratic wizards. Oh, he's Tim Baker, who's not British. We'll make him British.
Oh, quadratic wizards refer to the power curve from the level 1 through the high levels. They start with a lower power and increase slowly, but end up exponentially better than fighters if they parentheses if they survive. Parentheses period.
Jonathan is saying more death.
More death. More death. More death.
How did the flow of inspiration go? Well, Reed gave me a good tip before we started and just made a comment to make sure it flowed. So I gave everyone a point of inspiration. I gave everyone inspiration after giving their character backstories. Our bard had an awesome backstory. He's a folk hero, or a local hero, whatever that was. But he's a folk hero. But it was he said it was by accident that he just happened to knock a pillar over that killed the people attacking the bard Fallcrest, and he had no skills whatsoever. So that was pretty cool. So everyone got inspiration for that, and I think it flowed pretty evenly. Again, Benny's, Tim saying inspiration functions like Benny's. Benny's really makes that it kind of gets me in the zone, you know. And then you've got DCC now has fleeting luck.
I have some of those.
So getting used to that in DCC Lankmar. Evie, why don't you answer Clayton's question before we wrap up here?
What was the most memorable scene / moment ? Let's think here.
Do you want me to answer the question?
There's like a lot of scenes.
There's a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
I will say I think the coolest scene was the three of them, and they were
going up the wall.
You're climbing up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most memorable scene.
Because like
the wall, none of you could climb.
And then we went down the wall, and we went back up the wall, and we stayed in the wall, and then we went back down the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the okay. Them climbing a wall.
We're not the only people who haven't played 5e.
Oh, Hector Cruz is asking how are the encounters compared to DCC, and he hasn't played 5e.
We're not the only.
I think that the encounters weren't that far off. They fought 4 goblins and then a bugbear, got 2 goblins and a wolf. So I think it's hard to say how different they were. There's not that gonzo blasting power. Like you don't have a wizard like accidentally casting 19 magic missiles one round, and then the second round only cast 1 magic missile that does 2 points of damage. It seemed like there was more of a standard, I don't know, there wasn't that swing of DCC of can't do crap versus we're the kings of the world, you know. It was more in the middle. And were the players happy with the number of PC options they had? That was Tim's question. Do you like how many choices?
Yes.
You had? Yeah.
Yes. I don't like how you have to read all of them, but I like them.
Okay. Well, let's take it to the end here. There's still questions coming through. If you add them in the comments, I will get to them, or Evie will get to them. But we have to wrap here. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, or share. I would love for people to share this. We're going to keep doing this going. Next week, we won't be butting up against Glowburn, so we can drift longer into if there's more questions or whatnot. Yeah. I think next week I'd like to talk about player recruitment, but if you'd like to discuss something else, I think we'll go back and forth on topics. So we'll decide by tomorrow. But if any of y'all out there have an idea what you want to hear us talk about next week, please toss it in the comments below, and maybe we'll cover that topic, and we will feature you as the topic generator or something like that. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. And we wanted to have a little bit of a shtick here. Before we do, you can follow us at I Live for Crits on Twitter or right here on YouTube. But we're going to do this dungeon-themed ASMR to wrap us out.
Why did you say what it is?
Because I have to tell them what we're doing, so they don't just whispering into the microphone. So, okay. You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay, here's our dungeon-themed ASMR, and we're gonna kind of go off of our shirts here. So themed off of our shirts.
Ow.
So me, the nearly 40-year-old old guy with the.
You're not old.
Okay. Thanks for giving. Here we go. Ready? Dragonborn Paladin. Can you give us yours?
You gotta get ready to stop it because it's be the very last.
It's
thing.
the very last thing you're gonna say. You have to say it into the microphone. Just say it's not even long. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna start answering more questions.
No.
Just say
I
it.
can't see.
All right, turn it off.
Wait, TPK.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining. Bye. See you next week.